welcome to another episode of Orta Know Better. I'm joined this week by podcast regulars Adam, Smarty and Jay. How are you doing, boys?
Good evening. Awesome, obviously, you know me.
Yeah, I know Jay.
Love talking about Leeds after a defeat.
Yeah, it's lovely. We'll get to that now in a minute. What we're going to do is we're going to go straight into it, and we'll just go to Predictions League there, Adam. How did we get on this week, and how shafted did I get from everyone else's predictions?
Yeah, we were all shit, other than surprisingly, other than Jace. So Rex went Rex went 5. Oh, what did he got? He went 2-0 West Ham, so he got it spot on, 5 points. Well done, smart ass. Jay, your usual 4-1 Leeds, no points. Karl, 1-1 draw, no points. Bren, 2-0 Leeds, no points. Ah dear. Gilly, 1-1 draw, no points. Render, 1-1 draw. Becky, 1-1 draw. Ash, 1-1 draw. Mez, 2-2 draw. Smarty, you get a point here, mate. 2-1 to West Ham. I went 2-1 Leeds.
You fucking know.
Unbelievable, mate. Nitch went 2-1 Leeds, and Kay went a 2-2 draw. So out of all of us, only 2 people got points, which is fucking shocking. But the league is now looking a bit better. So we got so dead last on 0 points. We've got Jace, so he's managed to claw it back to 0 from. Was he on minus 500 or
He's
something?
been on minus everything.
So has he done? He's done a Leeds under Dennis Wise.
He has, yeah. He's put himself on minus 15, and now he's started his comeback.
Yeah. See, he could get promoted this year or win the league the way he's going like that, you know.
Wouldn't surprise me. Right, and then it's me on 1 point, and now obviously there's been times on this pod where I've had to say, you know, you got it wrong, boys, and so technically I should be on about 11 points.
Fuck off.
I'm not saying no. It's okay. It's fine. I'll stay on 1 point. And joining me on 1 point, we've got Render, and then Karl, you're on 5 with stats. Kay on 7. Mez and Nitch together in perfect harmony on 9. Gilly and Bren on 11. On with Jay. Fuck me, Jay. You've got 11 points.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
It's fucking madness. Then Ash is in 3rd on 12, and then Becky and Smarty at the top, 13 points. Fuckers, you're taking this seriously, aren't you, Smart?
I'll tell you what. I'm coming for you, Smarts. Just 1-4-1 win. That's all I'm waiting for.
Don't get a nosebleed up there, Smarty.
The only rivals I've had really has both been Ash and Becky, and Ash has fallen away, and well, Becky, bring it on. Careful what you wish for, Smarty.
All these pretenders coming for your crown, Smarty, is it? Brilliant, right? Okay, well then, seeing as we're all doing shit there anyway, and we may as well kind of get into it, let's be honest, because there's, you know, it's part of the pod, and I know we did Berardi and Coke yesterday, and that's been released, so if you want to get an in-depth view of what we at the pod thought of the game, give it a look. But Jay, I'm going to come to you for a bit of positivity, please.
Oh yeah, you've come to the right man. I mean, I'm always bringing the positivity, mate. What can I say about that?
Here we go.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm still upset about it, to be honest with you. It's still not sitting right with me. It's just more shit luck, shit finishing. Like, we didn't play particularly badly. That's the really frustrating thing. But we just couldn't put it in the net. And then when we did put it in the net, technology interfered, and some idiot who can't see fucking straight come along with his ruler and his fucking red marker and started drawing imaginary fucking lines and pointing them in weird directions. And I'm telling you something, you move with your feet, man. You can't position yourself with any other part of your body, can you? If your feet are onside, you're onside. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's becoming a joke now, because like we used to like bemoan the referees in the Championship and how we got done over all the time. We've got crap decisions. And we all said, at least when we go to the Prem, you know, VAR, at least we won't be getting screwed. And, I'm speechless now after that. I'm just,
Can't speak.
That's it.
And SPEYK.
I were raging, man. I were fuming.
Your Twitter were gold last night, Jay.
Oh,
man.
Don't.
Stop it. And it continued on into this morning.
It affects me, man. It's right here, it's right here.
Cuts you deep, Jay.
It does. And we didn't play that badly, but there were sort of, it was good to see Phillips back. That were a positive. He did all right. Pretty solid in general. He didn't look like he were sort of miles off the pace or what you might have thought with his layoff that he's had. But Bamford, man, he were anonymous again. He were unlucky with the one that got ruled out for him, but he's been a bit of a passenger the last couple of weeks. And he's normally like the focal point of our attack, and he works really hard and he does a good job usually. But I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with him in the last couple of games. I didn't think he looked himself, to be completely honest. I don't know if there's something going on with him or what. If he's just suffering like a lack of confidence because he's not scoring all of a sudden, and when he is, they get taken off him. But yeah, it was just it was frustrating more than anything. It was good to see Rodrigo come back as well. He did all right when he came on. I think it was just one of them games where that early decision, it just changed everything. And if that first goal had not been ruled out, it would have been a different game because we were all over him at that point. And it were a bit like when we played Spurs, we were all over him until they scored and it knocked the stuffing out of us. And it just seems to be the way. And if we concede first to teams like that, we seem to be, as heads go down at the moment. Whereas it didn't seem to matter so much earlier in the season. We'd fight back. But I'm starting to lose that thing now where you feel like we can always get back into a game.
Yeah. Do you think, going back to your bit about Bamford, do you think because we've had a lot of injuries and the fluidity of the team hasn't quite been there for a couple of weeks, even with Phillips out and then Rodrigo coming out.
Yeah.
With Rodrigo coming out and Phillips coming out at the same time, it was the start of Bamford not really scoring or being in a game as much because he's having to drop a little deeper, perhaps. Do you think has that got a lot to do with the fluidity of the team from back to front? Because they are quite a good unit when all 11 starting players are in the team.
Yeah.
If the likes of Phillips or Rodrigo are gone, do you think is that having a knock-on effect on Bamford and that's why he's not scoring?
I think it's having a knock-on effect on the whole team, really, because like 1 minute we've got Phillips, the next minute we haven't. Then we sort of settle into a bit of a rhythm, but then Strike's not there. Then Harrison's dropped for Costa. Raphinha last week were on the other side. I think there's been a bit more chopping and changing recently than we would normally do. Obviously, some of it's been enforced, but it's not helped the flow. It's not helped the team settle into a rhythm. We seemed like we had sort of 11 players with a good understanding earlier in the season, and I think we have lost that a bit. And I think Bamford is one of those people who takes a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Sort of, he does that to himself, and he sort of makes it his job to sort of get back and get involved and try and help the team as much as he can. And he's probably too selfless sometimes. He probably works too hard, if that makes sense. And he'll often be sort of too deep then. But I can only sort of imagine that Bielsa would tell him not to do it if he wasn't happy with it. So
it's what Bielsa requires, and we're kind of used to that at the moment. Like we would like Bamford to be a little bit more greedy, a bit more selfish at times, and I think against Leicester he showed that side of his game where he squared it for Harrison, and even the commentators and I think it was Jimmy Floyd and what does he know really but it was like them in the studio basically saying, I'd have shot. That's a striker there to shoot, and that element of his game is quite good. But then that element isn't there when everyone isn't clicking. Smarty, I thought the game against West Ham was quite like the Palace game where that early offside goal was disallowed and the heads went down. Do you feel that maybe kind of contributed in the same way as it did during the Palace game? Because I feel if we'd have not been denied a goal, like that offside goal against Palace, I feel we could have gone on to win that, and it's a totally different game. Do you think that's kind of the same way it's gone last night? Disallowed goal, heads drop.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to have a mental effect on the whole team. If you've had one legitimate goal, I would say, disallowed. It's good. For me, when I was watching it, probably 15, 20 minutes in, I kind of got that creeping feeling of, you know what, I don't think it's going to be our night. It's going to be one of them sort of games, a very, very Crystal Palace sort of game. And yeah, it's got to have some sort of knock-on effect for players. When you don't have decisions going your way, I mean, that offside, like, Jesus Christ, it must have been his toenail or something that went offside. It was incredible. It was incredibly poor decision. When it's such a fine margin like that, it's ruining the game, innit? But I'm not going to start banging on about VAR.
Getting worked up again, Smarty.
You are?
I'm getting worked up again, thinking about that fucking
line. I'm not going to go there today. I'm going to stay calm.
Move on.
But yeah, I think, but like you say, with Bamford and stuff like that, it's his service. I don't think Costa provides the same service as Harrison would do. Klich hasn't been on his game lately. Phillips has been missing. He's come back into the team and stuff like that. I think because we've had to make so many changes over the last, months, let's be honest, not just weeks. Yeah. It's bound to have a change on the team. We haven't had a consistent 11 for majority of the season.
All season.
I can't even remember that period of games where we've had a consistent 11. Like,
I just can't help but think that we've not necessarily lost his tenacity, because I still think there's still that fight to win. I just think we've lost our flair. Because when I watch us now, I just think, oh yeah, we're definitely going to get back into this. And I just don't get that feeling anymore. A bit like what you were saying, Jake. It's not like that, oh, we're definitely going to get back here. As soon as I saw that West Ham going, and a very, very unfortunate way to concede after he made a decent save, really poor penalty, better penalty, probably pushes that away or whatever, and to concede like that, it's just going to make the lads drop their heads, and the rest is history, as I said. You just want our night, but it's one of them sort of games where you just think, fucking hell, another one of them sort of games where nothing's gone our way, or it's another Wolves. How many teams can we list off that have had a similar sort of game, similar sort of outcomes? But we move on. But what I don't want to happen now is for it to become the norm, because you look at Sheffield United's results last year. At the end, they did really well to start off with. They started dropping a few games, or whatever, halfway through the season. Then towards the end of the season, they were losing majority of the games. I certainly don't want to finish the season where we've been losing, consecutively, and for that form to carry on into the new year. I certainly don't want that, because that'll just really fucking, who knows. But
that is what will sucker punch your mentality going into the second season. And like you were saying, Smarty, very good point, man. It happened to Sheffield United there, like that good run, and then they lost 10 games towards the end of the season last year and barely stayed up, and
carried that form on, haven't they?
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like I think you're right, Smarty, in the sense that we need to string, like, we haven't done 3 wins on the bounce all season. No. 2 is our max. Yeah. We need to. I think if we can string 3 wins together between now and the end of the season in a row, regardless of how the games go before and after, I think that puts you in a good place if you can get 3 on the bounce and whatnot. But definitely. Adam, going back to the West Ham game, do you think getting players back like Rodrigo now and Phillips and whatnot, and Berra now, he was on the bench for Sunday, and Poveda, or for yesterday, and Poveda's back now as well. Do you think with the competition for more places, do you think it's going to kind of up our game? We kind of covered that the heads have dropped a little bit, but do you think is that the players coming back going to help us? No,
I really don't, because I think the players coming. I think the players who are coming back.
I don't think anyone's about the pessimism, but you crack on.
Sorry about that.
Rodrigo, yeah, because Rodrigo brings a bit of quality. Rodrigo is a far superior player to what we've got, whereas the likes of Paveda, Berra, you know, players that are coming back like that, you know, Shackleton, but whoever it is, they're just not fucking good enough to be regular Premier League starters. And if they were good enough, we wouldn't be losing these games and we'd have that desire to keep going. And I'm not saying it's all about desire, but we'd have that quality and we wouldn't be making these mistakes. We wouldn't be chasing the game. Every fucking game we play really well. We say, oh, yeah, play great football. We're fucking losing. So we need some, and players like Paveda, yeah, great talent, looks, you know, he's skillful, but you're telling me that Paveda should, like, if Rafinha was injured, you'd have full trust in Paveda?
He's another one that wants a full season on loan in the Championship, where he's starting every week.
I quite fancy him. I think he's a fantastic player, and he's only.
I think he's talented.
He's only 19 or something.
He'll be really good.
Of course, and this isn't, you know. Yeah, and this isn't me like slagging them all off. I think that, you know, every player like Strauch, you know, everybody who's come in, they're doing a job, but the job that we want them to do, our expectation level against what they're giving us or what they're able to give us just isn't matching up. So yeah, Berra's back, Paveda's back. Out of all the injured players, you'd only say Rodrigo, you'd go, thank God he's back, because he could be a game changer when he's on it, but we haven't seen enough of it. Robin, Koch and Llorente, you could say the same, because we paid good money for them. But these other players that were coming back from injury, and I have to put Berra in this as well. Like they're not going to be sustainably good enough for this team if we want to, you know. And you're saying, Karl, yeah, we've not won 3 games on bounce. If we win 2 games on, you know, if we won half our games this season, what's that? 19 wins. That's what, 57 points. So we'd be absolutely fine. So, but we just don't have a squad good enough to get 57 points, let's be honest. So
well, we're never going to, though, were we? We knew that.
No.
Yeah. So I'm not
probably naive plus, I think that as well.
I think what you're saying, Adam, is absolutely spot on. I couldn't disagree with anything that you're saying. But
thank you, Karl.
Well, hold on. There is always a but with me now. yeah, it's all right, man. No, basically, I do agree with what you're saying, but I'd also kind of look at it and go, right, the players we have now, Bielsa likes every single one of them. Bielsa has no qualms changing one player for another after 20 minutes because it's not working. We all know that. Yeah. And what I meant when I asked, do you think these players coming back might help the starting 11? I didn't mean it in, I should have made myself clear, but your point is very valid. It's another point that we made, but I think, does it put, because Bielsa's so willing to change players left, right and centre, he doesn't give a toss. He'd put them anywhere. He'd put Mesley up in midfield if he wanted and think it was fine. But do you think with these players come back, it's going to actually up the game of the starting 11, because they know Bielsa, it doesn't give a fuck and will change them at the drop of a hat, and he'll put a right back at fucking left midfield? Do you think that kind of, no?
Again, no, because I see the starting 11 is usually, when everybody's fit, we can pretty much guarantee what the starting 11 is going to be. Yeah. And other than the really ineffectual players, which are for me the wide players, other than obviously Harrison, Costa, you're going to interchange them because they'll have 10 minutes of looking decent and then 80 minutes of looking wank. So there's only certain positions in that team where I think players would go, I'm looking over my shoulder here. But I think the likes of Dallas, Phillips, Klich, Bamford, Cooper, Ayling, like they've got no competition coming through at all. And that's what I think we're seeing with Clichy as well. Like there's nobody going to come in from anywhere that's going to dismount them. So no, I think it's great that they're coming back from injury, and I hope that we do see them all push on and the players that are in the team really work hard for it and to want to stay there. But I just think they're all kind of, well, if I don't play this game, I'll play the next game. I just don't think there's any real consistency with anybody, and there's no fear factor there until the end of the season, and then hopefully we can fucking,
because you've got players like Pablo who can still put in a good shift sat on bench, and I'm sorry, I'm no Marcelo.
Sometimes sat on bench.
Well, yeah, but I'm sorry, but fucking Tyler Roberts don't get in the team over Pablo Hernandez for me.
Pablo had an injury apparently yesterday. He had a muscle
Pablo
strain.
is better than fucking Tyler Roberts, fucking fully fit. I'm guessing, but what I'll just go back to what you were saying, Adam. I think you're probably right. Yeah, the team that we've got, it'll do for now. And you look at the bench, but if you look at the bench in previous weeks, it's been made up of kids. And you look at it now, especially yesterday when you got Berardi, you've got Hernandez. There's who else do we have? Well, obviously Rodrigo, and there's a couple of well-established players coming back and filling that bench. Harrison as well. It's the best bench we've had probably, dare I say, all season. We're just missing like a Forshaw or something, the man, the myth. But you're right, you are right. But I think if I were a player and I saw that I'd had a bit of a more of a bolstered bench, it must give the players a bit of a boost.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think.
You see Berardi, a good centre back. You've got Hernandez there. You've got Harrison to come on, change the game. You've got Poveda back. It's got to give them guys a bit of a boost to be able to think, right, we're not relying on fucking kids here. We've got some good players to come on and take the game back scruff at neck should we need them to.
But like Adam said, you want them players to also think, well, fucking hell, there's half decent people on bench now. So if I don't pull my weight and play decently, I might get hooked,
But that's what I was kind of saying as well, Jay. Like regardless of the players we have this season, they're going to change next year. But Bielsa will hook someone off the drop of a hat. And I think that's what getting these players back, regardless of how talented they are or up to standard or whatever. I think the starting 11 should all be shitting themselves and be performing. Like, get in the game, because Bielsa will hook you off and he'll put Berardi on in the number 10 role and not fucking give two fucks about it.
The fact that he dropped Harrison should shit a few of them up, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all thought he'd never drop Harrison, didn't we?
Yeah, and that's why I think getting these players back might up the start, whatever the starting 11 may be. I think it might G them up a bit, But look, we let people listen to the Berardi and Coke. We've waffled on there enough about that match, to be fair, and I think it leads quite nicely into our poll, Smarty, with the choices for tonight. Do you want to give us a blast there and see what won? I'm at a loss here at the moment. I don't know.
Ask him for a blast. You might get one. You
don't want a blast. Certainly not from me. As you know, most of you probably know. Every week we run a poll via our Twitter account to let the listeners vote on the main subject for the pod. And the options were the 9,000 super fans and who gets priority over what. The Great Escape, who stays in the summer and who goes. And the winner was Klich. Have we seen the best of him? Ooh. So I will go straight to Mr. Positive and Mr. Adam.
Hey, I am Mr. Positive.
Well, it's not fucking Jay, like.
Well, Adam's made me sound cheerful tonight, so I'm happy about that.
Personally, I really, really hope this isn't the end of Klich, partly because for Christmas I got the home shirt with his name on back, so I'll be really fucked off if we get rid of him. But yeah, no, I think, I don't know what it is. He played, a lot were made about how many consecutive games he played. I think he's probably just fucked and he needs a long rest. Funnily enough, I was talking to my old man and he's a Liverpool fan, and he was saying, he looks at, you look at these players, they play so many, when you run such a tight squad, especially in the engine room, Liverpool look tired. These players that we've got, Klich looks tired. So I just think he needs a good rest, and he probably needs to stay off social media. We need to, do you know what I mean? And he just needs to concentrate on mentally recharging and cracking on. Didn't he have a kid? And he had a baby or something as well, like recently, or have I made this up in my head?
That last season.
It's Berardi, no?
Yeah, but
I think so.
I know Berry's had one, but I'm sure there's some. I don't know. Maybe I've made that up, or maybe I've.
I was banging out kids anyway. It was a long
promotion
lockdown.
Babies.
Well, that's it. But I just think I think the poor fucker's tired, and I think because you look at it against the opening games of the season, he looked like he was going to be easily making the step up. There's nobody on that bench or in that squad of the 23s that you go, right, he's a like for like, and we'll be better off by giving Klich that rest. And this is the problem for me. So I don't think he's finished, but I think he's I think he's burnt out personally.
Tell you what, if he plays at the Euros this summer, he's not going to be any better next season, is he?
No.
Well,
This will have had a rest.
No. Would you put Pablo in instead of Klich for a few games, give him a bit of a rest?
Yeah.
Still got it in the tank as Pablo. Would you?
I'd bang Pablo in there, man. Yeah.
He's not doing any worse.
He's not. And
like I do any worse. Give him a shot.
I agree with you totally. I wouldn't ever like to see the back of Klich. He's fantastic, especially last season. But I think I've said it once or twice before on here. Since November, he seems to have a bit of a not dropped off a cliff, but his performances are nowhere near what they were. Sort of like start of the season, end of last season. But what are your thoughts, Jade? Do you think we've seen the best of him? Apparently he's carrying a bit of a niggle. Now, I don't know whether to believe that. I don't know how true it is, whether he's playing through an injury. It's certainly fucking stupid if he is. Because if he's playing through an injury, then surely he's making it worse by playing through an injury. Or have we got another foreshore on his hands? Who knows? What's your thoughts on Klich?
I think it's hard to say, really. I mean, he's not in any danger this season, really, because we just don't really have anyone else unless we try Pablo. And I don't think Pablo's got the legs to play that many games. I think he should get a shot. I don't think he could do any worse. And, we know he's got magic in him, and it probably do play good to have a couple of games having a rest, on sidelines, trying to recharge his batteries a little bit. But I don't think he's finished. I don't think that we've seen the back of him. I think he'll be there next season or two. But like you say, last season and start of this season, back in the Championship, he was scoring mad goals from all over the place. And he doesn't really look like he's got that in him at the moment. He doesn't look like he's got that in his locker.
Song going for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cursed him, that, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. There's something not quite right. But whether it's all on him or whether it's more to do with the way the team's playing and the way he fits into that, I'm not sure. But he doesn't look the same player to me. And I think that, like what Adam said, I think he is very tired. I think he hasn't stopped. And I think it's taking a toll now.
You mean, going back again to what Adam's saying, about there being no one else to replace him, should we need to give him a rest? Or what happens if he gets injured, say, we're going to have to put someone there.
Fucked.
Then you see the return of Shackleton.
Are we fucked? I mean, you look at
the way I look at
it. If I were Bielsa, I'd be a lot better looking. But if I were Bielsa, would Berardi at left back be a bad shout, and moving Dallas up into his position?
I don't think that'd be the worst idea in the world.
He proves it time and time again. You could play Dallas whatever you freaking wanted to. He would
play him in goal. He'd probably be better than Kiko.
And he plays well in midfield. He is a natural midfielder. Berardi is a natural left back. That's where he always used to play in his first few seasons. Karl, if we were to lose Klich, what would your formation be, and who would you put in his place?
If we were to lose Klich, I would probably bring in. Well, I suppose if we were to lose him, say in 2 games' time, and we have 4 points on the board, I'd take him out of the team altogether, and I'd give Joffrey an old run in that number 8 role. Fuck it. If we're safe, he's proven it. I know we've talked about the under-23s and it's a fucking pissing into the wind pointless league and all this kind of shit, but he's a strong looking lad for, what is he, 18, 19. Stick him in that number 8 role and just let him run riot for a little while. If we're safe, what have we got to lose? We're only playing for prize money this year and safety. That's essentially all we're playing for. Next summer is the big rebuild, pitch rebuild, player squad rebuild. If these players are going to start making the step up and we get 4 points over the next 3 or 4 games, it's mad. Think we might, but if we get 4 points, we're safe at 4 points. Four more points, we're safe. Why not throw the likes of Joffrey in that number 8 role? Bang him in there. Look at the amount of goals he's setting up for that Greenwood lad. It's incredible. Yeah. So I think put Joffrey in there. I'd put him in ahead of Shaq.
Would you? I was just going to say.
I would.
Hey, Shaq. Would you not chop and change it, or would you just put him in? Say, right, lad, there you go. Drop you in the deep end. See how we get on.
100%.
maybe chop and change it, all right, yeah. But I'd definitely put Joff in there first and see how he gets on, because there's a couple of big games coming up over the last few months of the season. Like, and it'd be a good test for him. At least we know Shaq is able. He's come in and he demolished Aston Villa that time when he came on, when we played them at Villa Park, when he came on for Struick, and he ran them ragged. Like, we know he's very capable. He just needs a run of games in a team. And Joff is the next one to find out. I think Joff is the one to find out now if he's up for it. Like, he's got the build, he's got the pace, he's got the power. Give him a shot. Well, obviously when we get the safe points, like, but 3 or 4 games, give him a shot. Like,
yeah, not bad shot. Not bad idea actually as well. I didn't even really consider Joffrey. He's one of them sort of players who's hiding away in the 23. He's doing a little bit, learning how we play, learning the systems and sort of stuff. But like you say, surely after all this time, you'd like to think that he maybe even get. I'm not even sure how many appearances he's made on bench. Is it just the one?
One or two.
No, he's done a couple now, hasn't he? 3 or 4.
Has he done 3 or 4? Has he?
I'll be looking at Jenkins and Kenner as well through that 23s, because they're natural midfielders. Now, I know Kenner can play centre back and he's left footed and that, but these are highly rated players. They're playing at international level at their age group. So, and I get it, Karl, I completely agree. If we're safe, then I'm sorry, but sentiment aside, Klich's dropped, Pablo doesn't get on the bench, and we give him a farewell and send him to Huddersfield where he can play with Carlo and actually, and do well next season. And we blood in Kenner, we blood in Jenkins. Like, this is the future. And Joffrey, play him up front. He's a striker, or he's a number 10. He's a Rodrigo type player. So bring him in. Otherwise, don't have him. Just fucking release him to let him go play football somewhere else. It's bollocks. I hate it.
What happened to Bogus? Do you remember him? He was supposed to be.
He's on loan in Spain.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? He looks like he's miles away from ever playing for the first team now. And at one point, he looked like he might make the step up.
But the way you got to look at that as well is, like, look at Chelsea. They're hoarding young ones. They're hoarding them like they're going out of fashion. It's like they're going to be the last team with the youth system in the fucking world or something, the way they're going. But we've only got a certain amount of players from the youths out on loan. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, where we were kind of like, the players that are out playing on loan at the moment, the under 23 players, are they going to come back?
Football.
Yeah, are they going to be the ones that come back and make the step up? They're the next ones, not the Joffrey or the Kenners or any, like, these are the boys that might come back and do what we expect Joffrey to do and Kenna to do and all that. Yeah. And then next year, Kenna and Joffrey and all them, they'll be the ones going out on a year loan playing man football. And then the following year, their development is at the point where they can step into the first team then, maybe it's a rotation of talent to get to first team football that way, maybe.
It'll be interesting over time to see what it is, because over time we'll presumably see a pattern there. It's hard to know at this point if the guys that have gone out on loan are the ones that the club sees the most sort of potential to step up in, or if it's the guys they're keeping at the club so they're there if we need them. It's hard to know.
Yeah, I think that's it, Jay. I think the players are there because they could step up. I think you look at the likes of Robbie Gotts and that. I don't think they're ever going to make it. So get them out, get them in the shop window, and hope we get a couple of mil from.
Well, that's it.
There could be that side of it as well. Yeah, you could be right.
It could be a sink or swim. Throw them out there, see what happens. Because right now we don't have plans for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if they excel somewhere, then bring them back.
Yeah, there is that side.
We could be giving them experience because we see something in them. But I think it's the players who are still at the club that are the ones that the club are looking at more keenly.
It's the ones on the fringe of the team that you'd think they'll be breaking into the first 11. Well, not first 11, but they also, the bench straight away. But is it a double edger where you've got kids that you really want to start playing football, but they're not used to playing men's football. They're playing PL2 or whatever, the academy sort of stuff, under 23s football. It acts back. Why it's a shame that the reserve sort of leagues are still going where they're playing men and they're not playing.
I think we say this every week, Smarty.
Kids. They're playing proper blokes. They should be sent out on loan. However, if you start sending out your fringe players and your best youth out on loan, then you've got no one, especially when you get injured, and how many fucking injuries we had this season, you've got no one to fall back on.
Exactly.
So is it one of them? It's like, we'd like to send you out on loan, but if the such and such and blah 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 got injured, then we've got no one to back them up. So it's kind of a double entendre or whatever.
There's another one there as well with that point you're making, Smarty, as well. It's like, do we send them out on loan in case players get injured and we've no cover, or do we send them out on loan where their development might not be as good because the way Bielsa and the club now want them to play kind of goes against everything that they're going to be doing at the new club. There's
playing at League One Oldham versus playing in our system, it's going to be a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Like even under 23 level for our players, that they're miles ahead of everyone in that league, but they're probably just a step below competing with the League One men's team, if you get me.
Yeah.
But you don't want to risk their development either because they're learning the way Bielsa wants to play, and ultimately that player that we're looking to potentially replace Klich for a couple of games could be in that squad,
I think that's been clear when they played in that cup tournament, hasn't it, where they're playing like first teams from lower leagues, the 23s or 21s or whatever it is, and they kept getting hammered, didn't they? It's a different kettle of fish playing competitive proper football. It just is, and that's
what I mean. Yeah. It's literally just where it's like purgatory for under 23 football.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean. It's
football
there.
Goes to die.
Yeah. It's like our
under talent goes to die.
Yeah, where talent goes to die. Yeah. Smarty, what's your opinion on that? Like, who do you think should fit in instead of Klich? I know you're doing the poll, like, but it's nice to get your opinion on who you think would fit in there, like.
Yeah, like I said, I briefly touched on it. But like you say, you made a couple of good points yourself. Maybe do you stick Joffrey in there? Do you stick Shackleton in there? But to be honest, Berardi's sat there. We've got Struijk who can replace any sort of centre back. Put Berardi in left back. Maybe put even Alioski back there. Push Dallas up. Give Klich some time. I wouldn't ever want to say bye to Klich. Just like I wouldn't ever want to say bye to Pablo Hernandez. He's been an absolute fantastic player for us, a great servant to the club. I wouldn't ever want to say goodbye to him. I wouldn't. Is he a club legend yet? Maybe not, but he's certainly definitely on track. His momentum was certainly on track to become a sort of a very, very special player, club legend. But I would like to see the old Klich back. He's falling too far behind in terms of performances and stuff like that to be, it's like, where the fuck, what's happened to him? Where's he gone? He goes missing. We used to say you watch Leeds and blah, 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 but you watch Klich and you see the whole game. So I don't think that's the case anymore, especially not at the minute. It's not probably since November, December time. He seems to be going missing a little bit. I just want him to have that spark back.
I think he's one of the players that misses the crowd the most.
I think so. You could be right. Yeah, I think so.
I think
that's having an effect of all of them. But like you say, people like Klich who feed off the crowd. Like Janssen, wasn't he? Janssen used to absolutely buzz off the crowd's reactions and everything. I think you're right. He's probably one of them as well.
It'd be funny if when the crowds do get back in and Klich starts banging away again, we'd be like, Jesus, good. Like it literally. Klich would be the definition of why football is nothing without fans, because if he starts performing once fans go back in, you're like, there you go, don't close this place ever again. Right, okay. Thanks for that, Smarty. We had three topics there to choose from, and the public went with the one that we didn't want to really go with, but
we don't get to pick them.
Yeah, that's the joys of a poll. Like, so it's great. Maybe we might cover the 9,000 super fans on another podcast, perhaps. Just
be nice, that one.
I'd like to talk about that one. So,
but it needs talking about.
Yeah, it does. It does. We've got time for that yet. They're not talking about that until the 19th of May or something like that.
I'll keep putting it in the polls. It'll probably win at one point. Maybe I'll just
until it becomes the only option in the poll. After 3 weeks of trying, like, you've got to vote for this one. There's nothing else.
We're not giving you a choice. Right. So that moves us swiftly on to our favorite topic. It's the Hock Topic, everybody. Hello. Yeah. Hello, Hock Topic. So this week it's between the Hock and Thomas Tuchel, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not known for my name pronunciation on this pod, but we'll go with that anyway. So the Chelsea gaffer or Hock. Go to you, Adam, first, seeing as you're at the top of my screen there.
Fucking hell, it's a tough one, isn't it?
No, it's not a tough one, Adam.
I'm gonna go with Tuchel, simply because I can't stand Hockadem. He gives me nightmares even thinking about him being the manager of Leeds. And without Tuchel, Lampard would still have a job. So it's
there is that.
It's a valid point.
He has done a service to football there, hasn't he?
The services to British football. He's got rid of Lampard. The Germans took over, and for that reason, sorry, Hock, it's Tuchel.
Right, okay. Smarty.
Yes.
There's only one winner here, lads. There's only one winner. It's not the Germans. Certainly not the German. Of course, it's Mr. Hockadem himself, the PE teacher extraordinaire, the janitor, caretaker, whatever you want to call him, Mr. 10-meter swimming badge himself. There's no way I'd ever pick a fucking Chelsea fucking manager over the Hock. That's for sure. That's for sure. The guy we're going to take us to the Champions League, lads, for fuck's sake. No.
He just got stopped in his tracks.
It's all about a bit of cop on, isn't it? Yeah. What about yourself, Jet?
Well, Thomas Tuchel, or Tommy Dick Fingers, as I'm going to call him. What's he ever done?
Tommy Dick Fingers.
I've got dicks for fingers.
I don't know. He just looks the type.
You know him, LJ.
Got me out there.
You fingers.
I mean, it's just what's he done in football? What's he done for the world?
Champions League final.
No, fuck all. He had a lot of money. He don't
what
count.
a dick.
It's not proper. So it don't count any of that. Whereas the Hock, as Smarty says, has got his 10-meter swimming badge, his cycling proficiency, and I had a rumor that he also read the Green Cross code. So I'm going for the Hock. So
no, you've done me on that one.
I think it was the Green Cross code that did it. Fuck Champions League final. It's the Green Cross code. I'm going there,
man. I remember about it when I was a kid. I thought we were going to go with highway code or something a bit more adult.
No, Green Cross code. What is that? The advert with hedgehogs?
Yeah, we cross the road.
With the bear with the black eye, no?
Yeah, call it the hedgehog.
Me personally, I'm going to go with the Hock because, quite frankly, Smarty's reason of just not picking a Chelsea scum is basically the reason I'm not picking Thomas Tuchel for this week. So I'm going to go with the Hock.
Tommy Dick Fingers.
I'm going to start playing this game next week. I'm going to try and pick the Hock next week.
I'll just say something.
Who have we got next week? We've got Jurgen next.
100% right here.
Yeah. I'm just going to say something about the Hock Topic.
Yeah.
Karl. On last week's pod, I think it was Mez picked Moyes over the Hock.
Oh,
Do you remember the rippage?
I remember it. Yep. And I remember that
hypocritical bastard, hypocritical bearded bastard. Let's call him out.
No, it wasn't you, Adam.
All right.
I thought you wanted. Don't worry.
I did notice that, and when I was watching it back, actually, I did notice that it was Gilly that dug me out because he did say that it was you that got ripped and that I left you standing by.
I stuck up for you, Karl. I stepped up to the plate. I was honest this time.
There you go. You see,
trousers, aren't you?
Fucking David Moyes. The biggest, that's one of my only regrets in life was picking that prick over the Hock that time. I don't have many regrets, But look, it was worth it for the old outtakes afterwards, so I'll take that. Just before we get to the end of it, lads, again, I'd just like to mention to our listeners and viewers the Hock, not the Hock Topic, the Berardi and Coke, our post-match
Come on, Karl, stay with us.
I'm here. Is available on all good platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Acast, iTunes, Google Play, all them bad boys. So get over and give it a listen. The ramblings on that. We've got a few guests as well on there, so see what their points of view are. Now, before we finish up, I'm going to go with the predictions for next week. I'll jot them down and send them on to Matt. So we'll go to Adam first. Adam, what are you thinking?
I ain't going.
Fresh air.
This is exactly what I came to you.
Have to give
He wants to gauge the feeling in the room first.
You're gonna have to give this week is Karl. Fuck his. I'll go with the flow shit. I want a prediction from you this week.
Me? I'm the host this week, man. I'm exempt anyway.
You're exempt every week, you fucker. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to fucking be sensible on this one because I'm on 1 point when I should be on 11, so I need to start getting some points back. I'm gonna go 3-0 Chelsea.
Fucking hell.
Oh, get in the bin.
I know. I'm sorry, but I've been backing us all season, and we've been wank recently. So.
I hope because it's a 12:30 kickoff, I'm still sober enough to go around to your gaff and kick you square in the nuts when we beat.
Down into the cellar.
Down into the cellar.
Karl. Give him a taste of his own medicine.
I ain't ringing no fucking ambulance. I'll pass the lotion down in a basket, and that's it.
Do you remember the film Jeepers Creepers when he goes down that pipe and there's like all the bodies in that cellar? That's what Adam's cellar looks like.
That's it.
Yeah,
just be careful, Karl.
Cats and cellars. That's Adam. Smarty,
you know what?
Go to you next.
I'm never linking this pod to my dating profile because I will never see anybody in my life. Are you terrible people? Sorry, Gilly.
No,
okay.
I did so well as well. Fuck.
You did. You Smarty, you're up.
You know what? Everyone knows I like to be a bit controversial, and Mez will hate me again.
Not you.
Again, this.
No, never.
But I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I just got hammered for that.
Well, he said 2, you said 3. So fuck off.
I mean, generous.
Yeah, you went further.
You're 3 times the twat.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
He's only twice the twat. You're fucking 3 times the twat.
It's all right.
That's all right. You can deal with that.
Can't wait to
Jay?
fucking bullshit.
Well, obviously, I'm locked into my 4-1. But I really wish I wasn't. I really wish I wasn't this week because I've got a very, very bad feeling about this, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, lads, I'll pass them on to Matt and.
Come on, stop being a knob. What's yours?
You abstaining twat.
Just do it.
I can't.
What's wrong?
I
lose anyway.
I'll put it to you like this, right?
Losing when you were predicting, we fucking lose nearly every bastard week anyway. So just fucking do it. What's right?
Hold on, no. Hold on. I've got a reason for this now, right? The lad I live with now has been betting on Leeds for the last couple of weeks. You know, doing little builder bets and all that. We've been losing. I said, don't fucking bet on Leeds anymore. He was like, okay. So if it comes in because he hasn't bet on, because he hasn't bet on them, and I don't give a prediction, all y'all.
Well, if it comes in and we win, Karl, you need to take his phone off him, close all his betting accounts,
100%.
and make sure he can never go near it again.
Betting? You won't even fucking remember what betting is.
After he's been round Adams and been thrown down them stairs.
Yeah. Well, no, look, I'm not going to go
Still
with
space for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I won't go with a prediction anyway, lads. I'll just stick to me. Whatever I get, and I'll moan about it next week. Thus far, but
so, if you forfeit, don't you get a 3-0 defeat? So you forfeit, you've gone 3-0 Chelsea.
No, I'm not. I get the most popular score from the group. I don't get a 4.
So it's going to be 3-0 Chelsea like me then.
It depends on if 3-0 is the most popular result then. It's like if
depends what
you
everybody else
know,
picks.
you could be the only prick in here saying Leeds are going to get beat 3-1
That's right. 3-0.
or 3-0 even.
They'll be
Yeah,
giving
we're
it.
not
They'll be
scoring.
giving it a leeway here. Nobody's
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
is that right? Oh,
It's good that it's all
Imagine
recorded and we can all
Bamford-
see it.
Imagine Bamford goes off on one and is like, I'm going to show you bastards. And he just like bangs it
I would love
Be
to be
amazing.
mid-table with you, Jay. I would love to be mid-table with you, mate.
It'd be
Yeah.
great, mate. It'd be great.
That'd be sweet, wouldn't it? Be absolutely sweet. But look, we'll leave it there, lads. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thanks to Adam, Smarty, and Jay for joining me this week.
Job hosted, mate.
Stay tuned for any new releases coming in the coming weeks, days, months. Keep an eye on the page, subscribe, like, keep a follow. And we'll see you on the flip side. Thanks a million, folks. Have a good evening.
Cheers, boys.
Adios.
See you, lads.